All right. Hello and welcome to another Bets on Rep episode. I'm your host, Corey Easley. I'm joined with Alex Valdez. How's it going, Alex?
It's good, man. I'm just going to let you know that Big Ben is going to take the power parlay to the promised land.
Big Ben taking the power parlay to the promised land. I don't know about that.
I'm not saying it's Big Ben. I'm just saying it's going to be somebody who gets the ball from Big Ben.
Fair enough. I'm glad to have you on again. We're going to try to conquer the power parlay in week 17 and see how we do. And we're going to be looking at every game, as many props as we can find, which for some games aren't many. So let's start with the Las Vegas Raiders and Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are 8-point favorites in this game. The Raiders, man, what are we doing with the Raiders these days? I'm not sure.
Not investing.
Not investing. I think that's pretty sound advice there. Looking at the prop markets, I don't have a lot here. I don't know if you have anything more.
I had none,
right now,
so
I
can't help you.
I have Jonathan Taylor.
What's his yards at?
102.5, which seems low.
Hammer it.
So we're gonna, I like it as well. I mean, I think it's hit in 60% of games this year. The Raiders have been better against the run of late, but they played like the Broncos barely ran against them. They only had 14 attempts last week. Chubb had a decent game against them. He didn't have like an all-worldly game. The last person to run for over 100 yards on them, I believe, was Joe Mixon in week 11.
How convenient.
How convenient. Antonio Gibson had 88 yards on 23 carries against them, and Chubb had 91 yards on 23 carries. So when the Bengals played them back in week 11, he had 30 carries. So I expect something similar. Like, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to get tons of work here. So 102.5 seems very doable. So I like the over in that one too as well. So we'll keep that one short and sweet. We'll take Jonathan Taylor over 102.5 as they continue to try to get him the MVP award.
Yes.
While upping their seed in the AFC. So New York Giants and Chicago Bears. What a game. The Bears are favored by 6 points. It sounds like Andy Dalton's going to be the quarterback in this one. Yay. I'm not sure who the quarterback's going to be for the Giants. I'm guessing it won't be Fromm, but that's just a guess. It could be back to Glennon, or your boy Jones is healthy. I'm just kidding.
My boy. It's fair that you say that. I continually tag you on this podcast naming incorrect dynasty rankings for you.
Like Daniel Jones, QB 10. So I got Andy Dalton passing yards here, which we're definitely not putting in the power parlay. We got David Montgomery rushing yards, which is at 69.5, and Saquon Barkley at 52.5. And just a side note, I'm thinking about benching Saquon in a fantasy matchup and playing Dare Ogunbowale. I botched that name, but I'm thinking about playing him over Barkley this week. That's where we're at right now. Cole Kmet at 30.5, your favorite tight end, and David Montgomery at 22.5, Darnell Mooney at 43.5. So I like David Montgomery over 22.5 receiving yards. He's reached that in 5 straight. I just gave that out in the Twitterverse. So I don't know how you feel about our guy, David Montgomery, in that one. But is there anything else that you like in that one?
In that game, I didn't have very many props on that one. So I didn't even have the Montgomery lines when I checked. So I didn't know if maybe there was something COVID related delaying them. So I like the under. I actually have it in a parlay this weekend. So I just don't think these offenses are going to do anything tomorrow. But if Montgomery has been getting that receiving work, I don't think that's going to change with Andy Dalton in the quarterback spot. So I'm cool with Montgomery or with the under in the game as long as it's still at least 37.
Look, to try to convince you a little bit, he's hit every game since week 12. He's had a nice target share the last few weeks. 9, 6, 7, and 9 the last 4 games.
Chocolate.
Okay, I always like to lead with the numbers, and you know what? If he's getting those type of looks, I feel comfortable adding him to the power parlay.
Otherwise, we're looking at total here, and the total, like you said, it's at 36.5.
Okay, so it has gone down.
It's very low.
Yeah. But Giants and the Bears don't really scream shootout to me.
David Montgomery anytime touchdowns paying $1.83.
If someone's gonna score in this game, I almost would want to sprinkle some on the first touchdown to Montgomery too.
Yeah, that's paying 5-1 at the moment, so that's not
Okay.
bad. And Chicago defense to score is $6.50. Just FYI.
Oh, that's a good one too.
So
Let's put Montgomery, and then let's just keep in the back of our mind Montgomery touchdown if we're not a big fan of the odds, because I think he's gonna for sure score. I don't know if you want to add 2 from this game already, or if you want to just wait and then just add it later.
We'll hold it. We'll hold it and see how we go as we get through these. The next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Jets. The Buccaneers are 13-point favorites in this one, and all I can think about is Antonio Brown going absolute bonkers in this game, but I could be wrong. His total's at 74.5 at the moment. So I don't know how you feel about that. The only other choice that I really liked, if Mike Evans is playing, which it looks like we do have props for him, he's at 50.5, and I think if he plays, he definitely goes over that.
Isn't he nursing an injury right now too? Because I know it was COVID initially, but that he is still limited at practice, right?
I believe so. And we do have some comments in the color cast. A lot of money to be made. Ronald Jones, anytime touchdown is a lock. Perry. I don't know, man. And then Perry also said, hey, Corey, what do you think about the Bears +1, Dolphins +10.5 for a teaser? I don't hate that. I don't hate it. I think the Bears will win that game, and I think the Dolphins should cover the 10.5. And Ethan Carboni also said there's no such thing as a lock, which is also true.
Very true.
It's very true. If I learned anything about that, there is no such thing as a lock. Mike Evans, quickly, just trying to figure out some information on him, just because he's got a tremendous streak so far of 1,000-yard seasons, and I can't for the life of me get around the thought of Tom Brady letting him not get that somehow. So he is currently at 899 yards receiving.
I'm going to be honest with you. I already like the sound of that because I do think Brady would want to, because that's one of the things about Mike Evans, that if you don't know football and you just dabble in, like, hearing people talk about him, he's a model of consistency since he's been in the league. So I agree with you. If he's going to get there, this game is going to contribute a lot for him to get to that 1K. So it being in the 50s?
Yeah, it's at 50.5. You
know what, Corey? Let's not even wrap our brain around the insane game we're expecting out of Antonio Brown. I like Mike Evans there. I definitely think so. That's a very low line, and he's been a model of consistency, which, I've seen your tweets about, like, people fading Mike Evans for no good reason. So let's not fade him right now.
All right. We will add him. Is there any other receiver or anything else you like in this game? Because if he does fall out, then that will take out a leg. It'll just void if it does sound like he's a game time decision at the moment. So
I don't know if you want to go through the heartburn of Tyler Kroft over 24.5 yards receiving, covered in 3 straight.
Dude, Tyler Kroft has been an absolute beast.
Yeah.
he's hit that. Yeah, like you said, it's been pretty straightforward. Tyler Croft hitting his over. Only problem is I don't have Tyler Croft at the moment.
Of course not.
Of course. You got Ronald Jones at 70.5 yards rushing.
See, even then, that's tempting, but I don't know.
AB alt yards 60 plus $1.40.
Yeah, because I think 60 is a safe floor to bet on him, especially like if Mike Evans is out, or even if he does play. Even if Evans plays, I still see AB getting up there in that 60 range. So I think that's a good fail safe. So if Mike Evans is out, then that 60 is an even less of a sweat, hopefully.
Yeah, because we got Tom Brady 250 plus passing yards at $1.40, which is also a little bit interesting. So I think they're gonna throw the ball because I think Brady wants the MVP. To be honest,
yeah.
But there's lots of interesting props here. I think if we're gonna add anything, we'll add also AB to have 60 plus yards receiving in this one at $1.40. So nothing crazy there. Adding to the power parlay, but we're currently at $10.16 or less. Yay, we're moving up. Atlanta Falcons and the Buffalo Bills. The Falcons are 14.5-point underdogs in this game. You know, there's a lot to like about the way the Buffalo Bills are playing right now. They're finally just disregarding their running backs and just having Josh Allen run the ball, which is a good sign for this offense overall. His current rushing yard prop is at 33.5 yards rushing. Corduro Patterson has kind of been taking a back seat lately. He's at 42.5 yards rushing, which is a little bit interesting. But the problem is I don't trust that Bills run defense to save my life. They've given up some explosive runs of late. So I'm probably not going down that route. Russell Gage has been my absolute favorite prop guy for the last few weeks here. And just looking at his stats, because his line's at 47.5, and he didn't make it last game. He had 4 catches for 39, but the 3, 4, 5 previous games he hit that. So he was 8 for 91 against 49ers, 4 for 64 against the Panthers, 11 for 130 against the Bucks, 6 for 62 against the Jags, and 5 for 49 against the Pats. Look, if Atlanta's going to keep up in this game, I don't know if they're going to be able to get it done on the ground, and I could expect some passing of the ball here. Kyle Pitts is at 50.5, which is kind of interesting as well.
I like Pitts' line too.
Because he really stepped up last week. He had 6 catches for 102 yards last week, and he's basically gone over 50 the last 3 games. He was just short against the Buccaneers 4 weeks ago, 4 for 48. So if we think that he's starting to get that, get it moving here, you would think that he was, starting to roll here. So 50.5 seems pretty reasonable considering the situation there in Atlanta. I expect them, if they're going to be down 14 points, I expect them to be throwing the ball a little bit here. So you happy with Pitts?
Yeah, I'm happy with Pitts, and I wouldn't even be upset if we also did Gage, just because I do think that if this Atlanta offense is going to keep up, these two are going to be 2 key cogs for anything on that offense.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at, we'll definitely put Pitts in. We'll hold Gage, see how we're going towards the end of this. So we got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Football Team. The next game, the line here is 4.5. The Eagles are paying $1.45 on the money line. You got to like the Eagles in this spot. The Washington Football Team look like a broken team at this point. Terry McLaurin has disappeared off the face of the earth. Someone put an APB out for him. Look, we do have some props. We got Jalen Hurts rushing yards at 43.5. Tyler Heineke is at 11.5. That's the only rushing props we have for this game. because of the uncertainty with both running back rooms in this game. So lots of injuries, lots of possible outs in this one as far as the running backs in this game for both teams. Receiving wise, we got, Kes Watkins, we got Devonte Smith, Terry McLaurin's at 50.5, Dallas Goddard's at 50.5, Jalen Reagor's at 19.5, and we got total receptions as well. So is there anything that stands out to you in this game? Did you find anything on this one?
This one was one I kind of had to convince myself on, but it was mainly on just my appreciation of Dallas Goddard. I think he's just their best option in the passing game. And even though he has been inconsistent over the last few weeks, I think this is a game where I'm sure the offense is going to try to get the ball in his hands. Because last week there was a few plays where he really could have broken out. And even then, the 2 targets that he just barely missed out on were would have put him over on the yards, because I had him last week and I was watching the game. So it was like he just missed, but in the box score you think he just had a quiet game, but he did have some looks that would have taken him over. I like it this week.
Man, it's a tough call. Dallas Goddard over 50.5. I don't hate it. I don't love it either.
Were you thinking Jalen Hurts rushing? Were you thinking Devonte Smith? I know he had a good game last week.
Devonte Smith over 3.5 catches is paying $1.60. He had 5 last week, and that was the most he's had since November 8th. So he's not the most trustworthy spot, especially against this Washington football team, that I just don't know what they are at the moment. I don't know how they're going to go into this game. I could see the Eagles just running the ball a ton on these guys. So that's my only worry. Do we just take Eagles money line?
Yeah, honestly, that might be the safest way to get out of here.
I think it is. I think we just go Eagles money line and we move on from this game, and we can always add some more from that we like from a different game. So the Kansas City Chiefs and Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this is one of those games that I like everything. I love the over in this game. I love a lot of the props in this game. So the Chiefs are 4-point favorites in this one. They're paying $1.50 on the money line. I know a lot of people are going to be on the Bengals money line as well, paying $2.59. I think they'll probably be one of the most, favorite underdogs this week, if that makes sense. And looking at some of the props here, we got Joe Burrow passing yards at 274.5. We got Mahomes at 288.5. Rushing props wise, we got Mixon at 71.5, Mahomes at 14.5, Joe Burrow at 5.5. And we do have alt lines for Mixon rushing as well. But receiving props, we got Tyler Boyd at 49.5. He's kind of just blown up here the last few weeks. Joe Mixon, 15.5. T. Higgins is one of the plays I really like. 70.5 is his line. Jamar Chase at 67.5. Tyreek Hill at 74.5. Travis Kelce at 72.5. What do you like in this game?
2 in particular stood out to me. One was T. Higgins, one of the hottest receivers over the last few weeks. He's had at least 7 targets in 4 of those games. And Burrow's done a pretty phenomenal job of spreading the ball around, because if you look at targets between him, Chase, and Boyd, they've all gotten a pretty considerable even amount of targets, and that leads to my next play, which is the Tyler Boyd at over 49.5. I think the line staying low because Tyler Boyd had such a abysmal start to the season that they have yet to try to move it up, because then that's when all the unders will come in. But I do like the 49.5 for Boyd as well. So Higgins and Boyd for me.
All right, Higgins, I'm definitely in on. I want to say I like Chase as well.
You could make an argument for every receiver in this matchup. It's like a plus matchup. It's crazy.
I think Chase had 125 yards receiving last week. which is ridiculous. He had only 3 against the Broncos though, and then he had 77 against 49ers. I don't know if I trust Boyd enough. Like I probably should. It just feels weird because no one really talks about Boyd anymore. But he's actually been really productive the last 4 weeks.
He's at five targets. He's at 5 targets in 4 straight games. So he's been getting the consistent looks.
His longs though are crazy. Like last week he had 68-yard long, 56-yard long week before, 29 before that, 32 before that. Like that's insane compared to what he was doing, like 9, 14, 11, 21, 25, 7, 9 the games before that. So I don't know if it's a little bit of that as well. That kind of scares me off, like the big plays. Like he's not really known to be a big play guy, but things have broken that way for him the last few. So what about Chase 50 plus?
Oh, I would take that.
All right, we can add that, sweeten it up a little bit. So I actually really like Joe Mixon in this game too. I think the Bengals are going to try to run the ball, do the old tried and true, keep it out of Mahomes' hands, get some first downs, blah, blah, blah. If they can try to slow this game down. I do like the total in this game as well. I think this game's a shootout. 51 seems a bit low. But do you want to put in an alt total in this line? Do you like the over in this game, or do you think it's a sneaky defensive battle?
No, I definitely think it's going to be more of a shootout. So I wouldn't be against adding the total there either.
So we can. It's part of the package here. We could go over.
Ooh, what if this is the Rams Chiefs game of this season?
Yeah, well, we could just blow it up and just say like over 60 or something. Well, over 61.5 is paying $3.68.
So that was a crazy game.
You go over 79.5 is paying 31-1.
Oh, jeez. When that hits, imagine.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, we could go over, I would say 45.5 is $1.42. I think that's pretty safe.
Very fair.
Yeah. All right. We'll add that in there as well, and we'll move on from this game. We're currently at 96-1 odds. And we go to the Jacksonville Jaguars and my beloved New England Patriots. The Patriots are huge 16.5-point favorites in this game, which is absolutely insane. Even though it's the Jaguars, 16.5 is a lot of points.
Yeah.
Anytime touchdown scores are interesting in this one. You got Damian Harris at $1.72, Ramondre Stevenson at $1.72, Hunter Henry at $2.37. And on the other side, you got Dare Ogunbowale at $3.60, which is interesting. So if the Jaguars are going to score, I don't know if it's going to be a touchdown pass because Trevor Lawrence hasn't thrown more than one touchdown pass in ages.
Since Clemson.
Since Clemson. Oh, man. As for passing yards, we got Mac Jones at 218.5, and we got Trevor Lawrence at 204.5. I don't know if you like either of those. I don't really like any of those. Ramondre Stevenson rushing yards at 53.5, and Ogunbowale is at 38.5, which seems low. Why is that so low?
I think it's just the. Well, I don't know if it's 35.5 is very low.
He had 17 carries last week for 57 yards. Unless Carlos Hyde is healthy.
Well, Urban Meyer's gone, so Carlos Hyde's not going to get any more favors in that franchise.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's not a lot of news out there in the Jaguars land. So looks like Carlos Hyde was put on IR. So I don't know who the other running back is right now for the Jags.
Let's jump on it. Let's add it. Let's just take it.
It's just, yeah. The Patriots' run defense is their weakness, and we've seen that time and time again. I don't know. I don't really see how even if Carlos Hyde comes back, I think he still gets work. I don't think they're going to be like, all right, cool, Carlos Hyde's back. Let's give him 25 carries. I don't see that happening. So we'll take that. The other props in this game are receiving props: Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Marvin Jones, Laquan Treadwell. We only have receiving yards. We don't have receptions as of now. And there's none that I like
Me
jumping
neither.
out to grab. So
Let's go with the Jags run game.
The Jags run game. Let's go. So moving on from the Patriots game, we're going to go to the Miami Dolphins and Tennessee Titans. The Dolphins are getting 3 points in this game, which is very interesting because I kind of like the Dolphins sneakily in this one. They haven't really proven it against a top team as of yet. This is their chance to show that they're for real and to give them a legit shot at the playoffs. Like, who would have thought that the AFC East would show up and possibly get 3 teams into the playoffs? Like, that's crazy. If they win this game, they have a 62% chance of making the playoffs. As of right now, they are sitting at a 32% chance. So, that's a little bit interesting as far as their percentage of chance goes. Because if they lose this game, it's pretty much over. They got a 7% chance of making the playoffs. So this is their season, and if that's the case, like, you expect the Dolphins to pull out all the stops in this one. So, was there anything that popped out to you in this game?
One was probably the popular one, Jalen Waddle over 6.5 receptions. He's covered in 4 of the last 5. AJ Brown over 72.5 yards receiving. He was phenomenal last week. I don't see that stopping. And if you really want to just test how healthy your heart is, Frickshire over 10.5 yards receiving. I think he's got that in 3 straight.
I don't have the Frickshire prop yet, unfortunately.
Probably better for your soul.
Yeah. But AJ Brown's down to 68.5, so I think you should probably consider that. Even 60 plus is at $1.62. Jalen Waddle receiving yards at 70.5, and I like Dante Foreman over 50.5 yards rushing as well. He's been pretty good. So just looking at his stats, he has gone. Well, last week was not good, but he had 9 carries for 17 yards. Well, before that, he had 22 for 108 against the Steelers. He had 13 for 47 against the Jags, 19 for 109 against the Patriots. So he's kind of been up, down, up, down. He had a down week last week. I could see him going for 67 yards in this one as well. Ryan Tannehill rushing yards at 19.5. Does that interest you? No.
Who?
Ryan Tannehill.
Oh no. No, thank you.
No.
Not even gonna joke.
All right. Well, we'll take AJ Brown.
Let's take AJ Brown. I had Waddle receptions. I don't know if that's even available.
We do have it. What do you like better, Waddle receptions or AJ Brown over 68.5?
We were saying that they're going to pull out all the stops, the Dolphins are, because this looks like it may be the nail in the coffin if they don't get it. So why not go with Jalen Waddle, who was getting every touch that Tua was throwing?
All right, I like the odds. $1.98. You're almost getting you're getting very good value there, minus 102. So we'll take that. We'll take the Jalen Waddle over 6.5 receptions. Rams and the Ravens. Those pictures that video of Lamar Jackson trying to practice did not look good.
Not encouraging at all.
Not encouraging. The line in this game is the Rams -6, and the total in this game is 46. I kind of like the over, to be honest. As far as props go, Matthew Stafford's at 289.5 yards passing. Rushing, we got Sony Michel, which is is at 69.5, which is definitely something I'm keeping an eye on.
I like that one a lot, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he's crushed that the last 4 weeks. So I think that's a must. That's a must grab. So he's at 131, 92, 79, and 121 the last 4 games. 69.5 seems far too low for this Ravens defense currently, as it's currently constructed. I definitely like Michelle over 69.5. Receiving props wise, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Sony Michelle was literally the only one I wrote down because I just thought it was the play to go with in this type of game.
Yeah, it's just difficult. Like, there's no Ravens like receiving props yet because we don't know who the quarterback is. Once that comes to light, I mean, Mark Andrews has to be considered. Right now, we have alt lines on the Rams receivers. We got Higbee, 32.5. We can alt that down. We got Cooper Kupp, 109.5. Van Jefferson, 46.5. Odell Beckham at 50.5. And we can take alts on all those guys. So, I mean, Higbee, 25 yards receiving is paying $1.50. $1.50. Which isn't bad.
Yeah, and I think Higbee's numbers support that, so I think that might be a good little bonus add-on.
Yeah, because the last 2 games he's gone over 40. He's had 5 catches in both of those games, so I think that's not a bad little play. If you're talking like the Van Jeffersons of the world, I don't think he just doesn't get enough catches. He doesn't get enough opportunities. Like, he basically had 1 catch last week, 2 catches, 2 catches. So that's a stay away from me. The only other guy I would look at is Odell Beckham, who had 4 catches last week, but he didn't get the yardage. So 4 catches for 37 yards is not what we're looking for. So if anything, I like the Higbee add-on, 25 plus, $1.50. We'll add that bad boy in there. As we're up to 13 legs with how many games we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So got six games left. We got the Broncos and the Chargers. The Broncos are 7.5-point underdogs in this game. Drew Lock season, your dreams will come true again.
I've jumped off that bandwagon a long time ago.
All right. So that being said, this Chargers team badly needs a win. Like, badly needs a win. Like, looking here at the 538 playoff predictions, which is an awesome page to check out. Like, you can just tick the box of whether that team's going to win or not, and it changes the value for their playoff chances. If the Chargers win this game against Denver, they have a 45% chance of making the playoffs, which is not great. Considering right now they have a 33% chance. They lose this game, they're all the way down to 7%. So they desperately need to win this game. And is there anything that jumped out to you as far as props go? Justin Herbert, passing yards, or are you looking at running backs? I don't have a lot as far as props go. We got Keenan Allen, we got Mike Williams, we got Herbert rushing yards, and we got Herbert passing, longest pass, passing touchdown, and interception.
I mean, I wanted to go with passing touchdowns. What do you have it at?
It is currently at 1.5.
1.5. You know what? I do want to go with that. I don't know how you feel about it. Like you said, it's a must-win game. I think it's going to be one of those games where I think the Chargers are spiraling. Broncos are spiraling even harder. I mean, I think this is a good game for the Chargers to kind of bounce back at home. So I like the over 1.5 passing touchdowns for Herbert.
All right. Well, I was just going to check out on Edge House because I believe his passing yards has been pretty lucrative the last few weeks. Can you look up his last stats? last few
Yeah.
weeks?
So last few weeks he's had 336, 236, 275, 317, and 303. And in there, and his last matchup with Denver against Denver was he had 303 yards passing and 2 touchdowns.
Okay, and his last, it's at 265 and a half. And his long completion is another one that is a little bit interesting at 38 and a half.
Let's see. Averaging, well, in his last 5 games, he's averaging 293 yards passing.
Yeah. So he's hit the passing touchdowns on a 66.7% hit rate. He's hit that in 10 of 15 this season. His interceptions is an interesting one because he's hit that 66% of the time as well. He had 2 last week against Houston, 1 against Kansas City. Didn't have one in week 14, but he had one in every other week. Week 10, week 11, week 12, week 13, all had an interception. And that's currently paying $1.96, which is pretty decent value. So he's been throwing some picks of late. So I think the longest he went without a pick was week 3, week 4, and week 5. So every other week, other than week 9 and week 14, he's had an interception. Looking at his passing yardage, like we said, like all these have been hitting at 66% rate. So don't think he can really go wrong here as far as choices go. His long completion looks a bit high. The last 2 weeks he's gone under it. So he's at 27 and 29. So the only other plays that we're looking at is Keenan Allen at 70 and a half or Mike Williams at 53 and a half.
I'd say we just go Herbert.
Gardens?
Yeah. Let's go with the yards.
All right. We'll go over 265 and a half yards passing for Herbert and that one. And we'll move on from that game where, the Chargers desperately need a win to the San Francisco 49ers who desperately need a win. They are 12.5-point favorites against one of the sneaky teams. Like, look, the Texans aren't – they are sure fun to watch sometimes. And Davis Mills has his team fired up. They get Brandon Cooks back this week, and he's trying to get to 1,000 yards receiving as well. So keep that in mind when I start telling you what props I like here. Because he is currently at 945 yards receiving this season. And he's pretty much gone over 1,000 like pretty consistently throughout his career. So I know he's going to be looking to get that as well with 2 games remaining. But is there anything that jumps off the page for you in this one? I don't have Trey Lance props yet.
I mean, the ones that did come off to me that were interesting were it was Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk on the 49ers side, just because Elijah Mitchell's back, so Deebo should be going back to his regular programming of being their number 1 receiver. And then, I mean, Brandon Cooks at over 65 and a half. Like you said, Davis Mills is just like taking command of this Texans offense, and he's been having a blast and doing it with Brandon Cooks too. So, I mean, I'd go with either of those 3.
So Brandon Cooks' receptions is very interesting to me. It's at 5.5. The last 2 games that he's played, because obviously he missed last week due to COVID, he had 8 catches and 7 catches. He had 8 against the Seahawks, 7 against the Jags. This San Francisco, the San Francisco defense doesn't really scare me as far as, their coverage guys go. 65.5 is his yards, and his total receptions is at 5.5, and it's paying $2.16.
Let's see.
your guy Nico Collins at 28.5. Debo's at 46.5, and Brandon Ayuk's at 36.5.
Oh man. Yeah, Nico Collins did me dirty a couple weeks already, so I'm already kind of like hesitating on him right now. I don't know, man. Debo Samuel, all reliable.
The old reliable Debo Samuel. Receiving yards?
Yeah.
It's at 46.5 with Trey Lance at quarterback.
I still feel confident in it.
All right. Devo Samuel goes in to the power parlay, and so does the money line for the Texans. No, just kidding.
That'd be fun.
What's the next game? We got the Arizona Cardinals and Dallas Cowboys. The Cardinals, I heard an interesting stat. Cliff Kingsbury, not very good in the second half of seasons, both at Texas Tech and with the Cardinals. Don't know if it's a trend, something to be worried about. But, yeah, it's definitely an issue for the Cardinals at the moment. Still no DeAndre Hopkins. What do you like in this game?
What's Zach Ertz receiving line on?
You got everything in this game.
Where's Zach Ertz at?
Zach Ertz is at 53.5 yards receiving.
And receptions?
Receptions, I say we have everything, but we don't have receptions.
Gotcha. Let's see.
We do have alt lines, though, for Ertz.
Let's see. Ertz over the last few weeks. Let me see. It's covered in 3 of 5. His usage has gone up in the last 3 weeks in a row. I mean, I would feel comfortable with Zach Ertz. I know Christian Kirk is also someone probably you might be looking at, but it looks like that chemistry is building there, and I really like the way that it's going. So I would lean with Zach Ertz receiving yards.
Man, that's tough. I kind of like the other tight end on the other side of the ball. And that's Dalton Schultz. The last 2 games, he's had 8 receptions, both games. He had 82 yards against the Washington football team and 67 yards versus the Giants. I do like Schultz in this one. He's currently at 47.5. Yeah, I think Kyler Murray rushing yards is also interesting. It's at 33.5. I just think that he's going to have to run the ball if they're going to be successful on offense. I don't think Kyler Murray in this offense, the way it's constructed currently, can actually move the ball without him running it.
Yeah, and let's see, in 3 of the last 5 games, he has covered that with 59, 61, and 74. And the games that he didn't was Detroit, where he only had 4 carries for 3 yards, and then Green Bay, 6 carries for 21. But that game was back in week 8. But since his return, he has gone over in 3 of 4.
Yeah.
So I think you have a really good point there. I think this offense, if it's going to have any sort of success, it's going to be.
He's going to have to run the first down.
Yeah, he's going to have to make something happen. He's averaging 6 attempts and 49.3 yards rushing since his return.
All right. So
that might be the move, man.
Yeah. I think we should go Kyler rushing yards over 33.5. I think it's the right play in this one. So go from the Cardinals-Cowboys game, I think the Cowboys are going to win that game, and to the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are 6.5-point favorites in this game. Sounds like Sam Darnold is back. So does that mean we fire up DJ Moore and start ignoring Robbie Anderson again? Or do we look elsewhere? Taysom Hill rushing.
I don't even know how I feel about that one. Let's see how DJ Moore has been doing.
Or how has he not been doing?
Let's see.
He's at
relatively pedestrian.
48, 84, 103, 50, 24, 32. So
And I'm assuming you
61.
don't have his receptions?
I'm assuming that would be correct. Oh, wait, no, I do. It's 5.5. Which looks about right. Man, he started the season on fire. He had 6 catches, 8 catches, 8 catches, 8 catches. 5, 5, 6. And that was with Sam Darnold. When did Sam Darnold stop playing? That's the question.
Here, I'm actually looking that specifically up right now.
That's the key with DJ Moore, I think. If we can figure out
his last game was a New England game. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, it was November 8th.
And in that span, he had 5.5 catches in.
Yeah, the majority of them.
5 out of 9.
Yeah, not including the Patriots game. If you count the Patriots game, yes, but if you don't, then it's 5 of 8.
Yeah. So 5 of 8. I mean, I definitely think it's fire up more, fade Robbie Anderson if you were firing him up. So I mean, I think DJ Moore might be the move. It's just I don't know if there's any other props or lines that I feel would be safer. You know what I mean? It's not exactly a cream of the crop of offensive expertise in this game.
No, neither of these teams are, and we don't have any props for like Kamara or anything like that. The only
I think we got to fire up more unless you think Troutman is.
Well, what about Callaway?
Let's see, Callaway. I feel like Callaway. I feel like I've heard his name be called a little bit more over the last few weeks. What's his line at?
His line is currently at 36.5.
I mean, he had a phenomenal game against the Bucs, but that entire team had a phenomenal day against the Dolphins. 4 catches for 46. Callaway's kind of annoying this year. Where like
I know, he's definitely annoying.
Every time you think he's going to like string some games along is when you start losing bankroll on him. It's really hard for me to trust him. He's kind of like what Nico Collins is turning into me. Where it's like I want him. I want to bet his lines. I think his line is like fine. I just, when you get burned too many times,
Yeah, I do. What if we just all right? Let's keep it simple. DJ Moore alt line 50 plus is $1.50. We go Callaway alt line 25 plus $1.40.
Lock it in. It's probably gonna be our best bet at this point. This game is gross.
This is a mess. This whole thing is just very interesting. We got the Lions and the Seahawks. The Lions are 7.5 point underdogs in this one against the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know what to like in this game. I'm just gonna look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, and
I was literally gonna tell you
57.5 yards.
I'm just gonna share this. I'm gonna share this. So I lost a fantasy championship by 0.28, and I, for the life of me, could not wrap my head around starting Amon-Ra St. Brown with Boyle. It was just because he was doing so well with Goff, and if I would have started him, I would have won. So I will never disrespect Amon-Ra St. Brown again. So I want to fire him up, and because I feel like he's going to get my back this week.
I don't want to tell you how much I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. At the same time, I benched him last week in a key matchup in semifinals.
Oh, we both did.
I played Goddard instead because I was like, "Oh, Boyle's quarterback. I can't trust Tim Boyle."
I felt the same way. I could not.
Scores Ertz by 20. Or sorry, not Ertz. Goddard by 20 points. I lose by 15. Boom, third place game. There you go.
See, I started Mooney over him. For some reason, I felt more comfortable with Nick Foles. Go figure. And it's just so painful because Amon-Ra had been such a stud the few weeks before getting me to this spot, and then got to the finals, and I benched Amon-Ra, and I felt the wrath of the sun god by not starting him. So Yeah.
I mean, the other guy I like in this game is Tyler Lockett.
Me too.
His line's at 57.5, and just kind of looking at his season progression so far. I mean, he only had 30 yards last week, but he talks about how COVID affected him. But, I mean, it's been 2 weeks since he's come off that list. He had 142 yards a week 2 weeks ago against Houston, 68 against San Francisco, 96 against Washington, 115 versus Arizona. Like 57.5 seems really low.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I don't know how you feel about it. I'd be comfortable firing up both.
All right. Well, let's see if we can do that. And yeah, we definitely can do that.
Do you want to do alt lines to be safe, or you want to just go with their lines as is?
We can go 50 plus if you want.
Let's do 50 plus on both sides.
All right. I'm on Rob 50 plus at $1.57, and we'll go Tyler Lockett 50 plus $1.57 as well. So you don't want to know the odds we're currently at right now.
It's not good.
No, it is. It's like 40,000 to 1.
God, we're gonna win this one. All right, next game.
Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. The Vikings are 13.5 point underdogs in this one. Sounds like Mon will get his first start.
I thought it was someone else that was. I thought the big story was that Mon wasn't starting. Yeah, which is terrible for the few of us who have him in our taxi squad in Dynasty.
They're starting Slaughter.
Yeah. I think Sean, whatever his name is, whatever that guy. He's who they're starting this week. Yeah. Sean Mannion. There you go. So Justin Jefferson under.
Man, Sean Mannion. I'm just trying to figure out what Sean Mannion looked like the last time he played in the game. Looks like 2019. He had 126 yards passing and 2 picks. So that's good. That's what we're doing with right now. So I like Aaron Jones rushing yards over 55.5. I think this is just one of those games where they kind of run the ball. I mean, AJ Dillon's not a bad play either at 53.5, depending on where the scoreboard goes. But other than that, I don't know who you're really trusting. I guess Devonte, 91.5, but I don't feel like they really need to throw the ball around that much and play around too much with this game. So
it's AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon.
Because I think they win this game by double digits, and I think it's going to be like them just running the ball and kind of just trying to get the hell out of there so they can go home. I just don't think this Vikings team is going to be very competitive on Sunday.
Aaron Jones. Only thing that Aaron Jones can get it done with like 12 carries in this one. You know,
what's his total?
At 55.5. And I think Dillon's has been smoked up because of that, because of the blow-up potential is at 53.5.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Dillon. How about we do alt Dillon to 40? And then let me look at what Aaron Jones has been doing as of late. I think you just put him in at 50 and just have that just to be 90 yards of rushing right there between those two. I think that's definitely going to happen in this matchup.
I mean, we got Dalvin Cook here still too at 78.5.
And you know what's weird is like I actually want to bet the over on that because even when they're down, I think they're just gonna give it to Dalvin Cook and then occasionally attempt to get the ball over to Jefferson. Because Thielen's out too.
Yeah, definitely.
He's done.
I mean, Conklin at 22.5 is interesting as well. But
Conklin has broken my heart way too many times for me to even remotely look at his stats.
All right,
Conklin, you are a fine tight end, but I have not had fun betting for you to hit the overs.
Yeah, I think that's, it sounds so sad for you. I know, but
you want to go Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook? Because I don't think there's going to be props for the Steelers game yet. Unless you have him, because I don't have him.
Hang on, I'll look in a second. I like Aaron Jones. We'll do 50. Aaron Jones 50 plus.
I like that. Like you said, 12 carries. That should be more than enough for him to hit that.
Dalvin Cook 70 plus.
Yeah.
And for props for the Steelers game, you are correct or incorrect? No, I do have some. I got Mayfield passing yards, got Roethlisberger passing yards, I got Najee rushing yards, I got Landry, DPJ, Deontay Johnson, and Claypool receiving yards.
All right, let's just ignore the Browns. All right, let's see. Deontay, where's he at?
Deontay's at 72.5.
I'm just gonna say the over on every Steelers player because I'm just biased as hell. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're gonna have to make the decision because I'm just gonna say over on every single one. I'm expecting the fact that Tomlin said that in an interview just tells me that it's probably more than likely just going to be either Canada giving him a list of plays and then Big Ben just picking the one he wants to do, or he's going to just have total control on his last game in Hines. So, over.
His passing yards at 235.5.
Over. What are his passing touchdowns?
I don't have that one.
Oh. What about rushing yards?
Okay. Dude, he hasn't thrown like the last 2 games. He's thrown for like 150 yards.
Over.
Over.
That's what I'm saying. You have to make this because I have way too much emotional ties to this game.
I like Landry over 48.5. All that.
Landry. I want to, but the Browns to me have been so gross to just even look at their stats.
They definitely are.
Baker Mayfield's doing so bad. The citizens of Cleveland are sending death threats. That's how bad it's gotten over there.
All right, let's just put Deontay in.
Yeah, I was gonna say Deontay's probably the safest one out of the entire bunch. But I will be posting for those of you who support the Steelers or are ready to make money. I'm gonna do a same game parlay for the Big Ben's last game in Hines. It's gonna be a W.
So once again, we have reached the end, and we have gone over $1 million of potential winning. So
of course we did.
We have to take one out, or we just pay less.
I was gonna say take out Dalvin Cook.
Take out Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, just take out Dalvin Cook.
All right, we take Dalvin Cook out, and that drops it significantly. We only make $620,000 off $5 right now.
You know what? I'm okay with that.
You okay with that?
I mean, how do you feel? I mean, I know you got a yacht payment in like a few days that you want to make. You want to make sure you get in.
I mean, we could always add another one. It wouldn't be, a huge
Montgomery touchdown.
Not that one. That's too big. We'd like AJ Brown, 50 yards receiving.
Let's do that because I definitely think that's going to happen.
Actually, we can't do that one either.
Oh, damn it.
All right, let's not force it. Let's just be happy.
Yeah. Look at us being ungrateful about $600K.
We was trying to fit. You have a gambling fix when you have to try to add another leg when you already have 22 legs.
I got burned that way, and I tried to add one more, and the one I added was the one that destroyed a 12-legger, and I will never force it again. So we got to stop. We got to be happy. $300K each. That should be at least half of your yacht payment. You'll be fine.
That's enough. That's enough to get us into bigger bankrolls.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we are gonna end it there. We appreciate
$1 million on Steelers money line on Monday.
We appreciate everyone that popped in and commented. Once again, thank you, Alex. Anything you want to shout out? I know you do a couple other pods as well.
Well, actually, what I do want to shout out is Corey and myself for the Clash of the Titans battle we're going to have in one of our Dynasty leagues. So shout out to Corey for making it and shout out to me for making it. So
yeah, it'll definitely be An interesting.
I'm already down 2 starters, which sucks. So it's gonna be. I don't know how pretty it's gonna get for me. No Gibson, which is ironic because you traded me Gibson for Mike Evans, and Mike Evans might pop off and be the nail in the coffin for my championship, or Waller. So.
Well, maybe we should just take back the little arrangement we made and.
Yo, when I got the news, I was like, I'm so glad that arrangement happened.
Well, it's all good. I appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone that jumped on. Thank you, and we'll talk to everyone very soon. See ya.
Thanks, guys.